And we're back with some more Captain of Industry. It's not Captains, it's Captain. I know, I know. Anyway, we've got 4 research labs here. You see, I figured out what I was doing wrong. Didn't have my goal set up. So basically, the only thing you care about early on is knocking out research. Setting up your factories, you're going to have to rip them all down and replace them or put in new things anyway. So I figured we might as well knock out all the research up until here. Up until here before we get Research Labs Level 2. Research Labs Level 2, it seems, require new stuff. You need to actually spend things to make the research work. Everything before this point, though, you need to spend stuff. Well, you spend Unity, but Unity is sort of generated for free, so effectively, we just need to get everything to this point, well, including this stacker, done. At that point, we've unlocked a bunch of tech. We can utilize that and then sort of catapult our way into Tier 2 tech. And once we do Tier 2 tech, it's going to be, well, then we're going to want to plow out as much of that as we possibly can until we get to Tier 3 tech. That's sort of the plan. Hopscotch our way through, do everything up until here, then hopscotch all the way up until there. It seems like a clear delineated goal. So right now we've put down some extra research labs. In fact, let's just stick down another one, I suppose. Yeah, you can go there. Once we've got this research knocked down, we'll rip down the place and replace it with a proper, more efficient factory. In the meantime, I'm just going to skip this forward, though. All we really have to keep an eye on is maintenance. Maintenance keeps everything running. If maintenance runs out, our factory starts to fail. The other thing we have to keep an eye on is diesel, because diesel keeps all of our little minions running around the place, and if that runs out, we could also fail. So long as I keep those two ticking over, we should be fine. We might go down a little bit slower on getting in the iron ore, or we might slow down on the coal generation, or we might slow down on copper, or whatever. But so long as we can keep diesel and maintenance ticking over, we shouldn't have any problems. And so long as we build enough research labs, we should be able to plow through to the end of this fairly quick. All of our research is successfully completed. We can't do any more. We just sort of sat here and let it play out. Well, not quite sat here. We ran into one bottleneck I hadn't considered, and that was bricks. We needed bricks to continue making construction parts. Well, we wanted to make level 2 construction parts, realistically, but that still bottlenecked us on bricks, which turns out it required dirt. And once we had started extracting the coal and the iron and the copper and all that reasonably well, we stopped getting all those little pieces of dirt, which means we stopped making bricks. So, it was either make a mine to make bricks, or move on to the next tech. The next tech up is to make concrete blocks. Now, concrete blocks, it turns out, required us to build 2 more mines. Yeah, making concrete blocks was more difficult than making iron. So, the first thing we got was limestone from over here, and the second thing we got was sand from over here. So we've got 2 mines, one doing limestone, one doing sand, and it still took another component to make concrete bricks. We needed slag, crushed slag. So basically, the crushed slag we get from smelting the iron, we put into making into this machine, which turns it into the crushed slag. The slag we put in here along with the sand that we mined, along with the limestone combined with coal, which made the cement, which then goes in there as well. Making the bricks was actually probably the more complicated of all the things so far. But that's fine. We're fully stable. We've got all that stuff done. Now it's time to sort of rip this all down and move on to stage 2. See, stage 2 is we gotta go up for this second layer of research. And for that, well, there's a whole bunch of stuff we can research as we go through here, but what I'd like to do is take all the tech we've currently got. Like, we've got access to conveyor belts and a bunch of other things, and I'd like to automate this. Make it simpler means we need less trucks, less diesel, less everything, and probably move it a little bit closer to the center. I'm thinking if we put it in here, that would be a better idea. Also, I want to move everything off of this water table. This water table here, we're going to put water pumps down on it and use the water from that instead of the water we're getting from these tarps just stuck on top of wooden frames. So give me a minute here to try and figure out where we're going to place this all. So I suppose I should probably go over the plan. It's not a great plan, but it is a plan. This is the Research Lab Level 2. It consumes 4 lab equipment every 60 seconds. There was a great tip from someone to tick the showed it all in increments of 60 seconds. It makes everything so much easier to work out the math on. Very handy. Anyway, since it takes 4 of these to run one, we just look at one of these buildings here, and it tells us this building, if it was producing nothing but lab equipment, would make 24 lab equipment every 60 seconds, which means it would support 6 laboratories. So what we want to do is be able to have one of these machines running flat out to produce enough science to support 6 laboratories that we can run to knock out all the science as quickly as possible. So to do that, we need to be making 12 mechanical parts every 60 seconds, which is great, because one of these assembly machines can also do that, assuming we feed it enough iron. It also needs 12 electronics, which one of these assembly machines can also make. So we need one assembly machine dedicated to electronics, one dedicated to mechanical parts, and we will be able to make lab equipment. Of course, we'll have to do some other subcomponents of that, but the main thing is These assembly machines, they cost construction parts level 2, of which we don't have enough just yet. So the plan is we're going to build this. This is a very simple little system. This produces the iron. The iron gets chucked into here to make 12 iron bars. All of those iron bars get fed onto one transport belt to get fed into these three things. The first two just produced construction parts level 1, and then the last one produced is construction parts level 2. That is literally it. Its only purpose here is to produce construction bits. Now, we do need electronics, so over here we still have our electronics production going on, and we're going to upgrade that to make sure we have plenty of electronics coming in, and we're just going to dedicate ourselves towards making construction parts level 2. And then once this is online, we will be able to expand out the factory. But that might take a minute. We need a lot of construction parts to make this work. Perfect. Now all we need is enough workers to run it all. Though we should probably demolish some of these old buildings back here. We could... You know what? Let's turn the beacon back on. That was paused, but we'll kick it off again. Might need a little bit more food to keep it going, though. You know what? Let's just chuck down a farm over here somewhere. Something is in the way. Yeah, it's probably trees. Right? Damn it. Yeah, okay, we're gonna have to put it here. I know. Farm complete. That should hopefully help keep our food supply stable. We've started growing some vegetables. We're mixing things up a little bit here. Potatoes. No potatoes. Potatoes. Actually, can we delete that and change it to something else? Vegetables. There you go. So the vegetables go in one place. The rest of it is potatoes. I hope you like potatoes because it's going to be lots of potatoes. Anyway, over here. This produces molten iron. Iron gets turned into iron plates. And then we got your basic construction parts, your basic construction parts, and then your advanced construction parts. And now we're just going to continue this on. With those three up and running, what we did was we disabled, or we got rid of the smelting back here. We're going to sort of move all of this stuff from over here to over here, and then somehow get the transport belts working to feed most of it, which is going to be interesting spaghettios. Oh, and you can't just chop down those trees. As far as I can tell, I can designate them for harvesting, but you can't just build over them, which I find a bit odd, but okay, it is what it is. One of the outputs of these smeltery things, or the blast furnaces, is slag, and we can't use that to make concrete, so we're going to use belts. Instead of having our trucks carted in the place, we're going to have it dump it over here into this loose storage. Loose storage is like storage for junk you don't care about, like loose rocks, waste, things like that. You can store stuff in here that you can't store in unit storage. Unit storage allows you to store constructed things, pleasant things, not, a collection of gravel or rocks or whatever you feel like. So this is going to be loose storage over here, and then I think we're going to move our entire concrete production over here as well. The reason I want to move to this section is, well, it's off the fertile land and it's off the water pump area. Oh, and for giggles, we've put down a water pump here just to see how it works. Basically, just pumps water out of the ground. As far as I can see, you get 48 water every 60 seconds, and it dumps it into this liquid storage tank we stuck beside it. That should solve our water problems. Well, we might have to put down a second one or something like that. Costs a bit of power. Power-wise, we have upgraded to 2 diesel generators, because 1 was not enough. We might need to upgrade to 3 in a bit, and we just got to make sure that our basic distiller keeps up. It takes 3 power to run each of these, so I can see how this could become problematic. If you start to run out of diesel, then you're going to start to have power glitches. And if you need the diesel to run your trucks as well, you're going to have transport glitches, and then the whole thing could spiral. So I think we're going to double down on our basic distiller sooner rather than later. Not just this moment, but we should probably put down a second one of those before our power needs get a bit too insane. The reason our power needs are going up is we're using the electric assemblers. They give you double the production, but only take 50% more workers. So it takes 4 workers for one of these normal little factories, these manual factories, and no electricity to run a manual factory, assembly hall. However, once you upgrade to the electrical ones, it takes you 80 kilowatts, and it takes you 6 people. So you need 50% more people, you need electricity, but you get double the production for only 2 people, which is usually more of a bottleneck than the power. The power, we can just hook up more oil, assuming that oil doesn't run out, but I'm not going to worry about that yet. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move our concrete construction over here, and then we're going to get onto science. Oh, actually no, concrete production over here, then copper, then science. Our next step to make sure we can start hammering out research as opposed to just building large quantities of machines is copper. The reason we need the copper is we need that for the electronics, and the reason we need the electronics is so that we can plow out the lab equipment. So the electronics require copper and rubber. The rubber we're making like way back over there, which... yeah, we might have to put some storage over here for that, but that's fine for now. We're going to put the smelter over here. We're going to smelt that here up into the... wait, No, molten copper. We don't want molten iron. We're going to turn that into impure copper. So the copper that comes out of here, which is sourced from that mine over there in the distance. So that copper from over there is going to get smelted up here, sent into this thing where it'll get turned into pure copper, and that pure copper then gets stored up here. Now, that should at least get us all our copper nice and close by, and then we'll put the electronics over here. Let's see where that would squeeze in. I decided it might be a smarter idea to stick it over here on the other side. This is all where the iron type stuff goes. Not quite all the iron type stuff, but most of the iron type stuff. And 2 of these we will not be able to keep up with production. It takes 24 copper plate, we're only producing 19. We can expand this out later if we want, but for now, well, we want to keep our power needs in check, we want to keep our production needs about realistic, and this should at least give us more than enough copper plating to hammer out all of the science in a reasonable time frame. And over here what we're doing is we're hooking up water. You see, this copper requires water to function, and these cement bags or cement concrete slabs also require water to function. So what we're doing is we're putting down a water pump right here because we're situated right on top of a water pocket, whatever you call it. That replenishes every time it rains, so it should in theory keep us going like all the time. And this liquid tank here is slowly going to fill up with water. For now, all that water is immediately being soaked up by everything around it. But once it's caught up with the machines around it, have you started yet? Yay, there we go. See, there's water. Water's showing up. Excellent. Right, and I should probably get around to making irrigated farmland. Okay, building mine control tower may collapse due to uneven terrain. Oh, yeah, this. I built some walls around it to help prevent that, but the tower of garbage is getting bigger. I kind of like it. We're just going to see what happens as the tower of garbage gets even huge. We have copper plate. We have... Oh, wait, one second. We've got our construction level 2, our construction level 1. We got our mechanical gear thingies. We have our copper plate. Rubber is being produced far away. We might have a look at that in a minute, but that means we have one last thing left to do as far as I'm aware, and that is just hook up lab equipment. All that requires is mechanical parts and electronics. And we have, yeah, more than enough of those. So let's stick those down and chuck down some labs. I'm really beginning to feel like this is actually a factory now, even with the silly transport belts here and there. There's been some minor complications, namely, this stopped working because the tower fell over. It doesn't matter, we got a replacement tower in. But that did interrupt our iron supply for quite some time because I never noticed, and then the iron ran out, which kind of ate into a bunch of things. And then maintenance stopped working, so we dropped down to about 30 maintenance, but just replaced up the priority on the maintenance depots, stopped our scientific research so that all the iron was going into this, and I think we're good. In fact, we're going to upgrade that to a level 2 maintenance depot. Instead of a maintenance depot basic, it's a maintenance depot whatever. This thing is over 4 times... It does 4 times the maintenance, and it's actually more efficient about doing it, as in it takes less resources to produce more maintenance. So, perfect. Anyone want to upgrade that? Come on, hurry up, lads. That looks, well, a lot more like a maintenance depot, actually, with all of that junk lying in the background. Perfect. That should sort out any maintenance issues we were having. Assuming that can stay well supplied. I'm just going to put on priority 8 for now, but I'm going to keep an eye on that. I want to make sure our maintenance maxes out again before I start not paying attention. One other little kink that it's just joyous to discover at this point is slag. Once you start piping that slag into this thingy, it's fine until it backs up. You have to actually set this a little bit empty, and when you set it empty, they'll actually take the leftover slag somewhere else. This way, when we have too much slag in here that we don't need for concrete, we instead turn that slag into, well, a waste heap somewhere, which I should probably tidy up later, but not just now. So that's an interesting thing. So that backed up both the iron supply and the copper supply, which was why things were getting so awkward for a while. Now that we've fixed that problem, probably, we can finally get on with the science. Yes, that's what we were doing all of this for, just so that we could get science here completely automated. Hey, we'll turn science back on again. We will start new research. And I think the first thing we want is burners. Burners will allow us to burn waste. The reason we want to burn waste is if we look over here, that's a lot of waste. It gives us air pollution instead, but yeah, whatever. I'll live with that. So yes, we will take waste. And once this thing is finished spinning up and we've got, we've maxed out copper and iron production, I'm going to put I'm going to full-time this sucker, and we're going to give ourselves 4 or 5 research labs. Well, lots and lots of mess-ups to go around. Yep, our maintenance isn't going up, and it's not because of the electronics, which I thought was the problem. It's actually because of mechanical parts. Turns out we need a lot more mechanical parts than I thought. I built two. One for doing science, and then one for everything else. However, this thing alone will consume, I think, 2 factories worth of mechanical parts. So we need to build a smelter just to build, or we need to build a blast furnace just to hook it up to a couple of metal casters, just to make enough iron plate to feed a couple of electric assemblies to pump out mechanical parts, just so we can do the maintenance on our entire island. That's a thing. We might want to get another truck as well. Yeah, how much iron are we bringing in? You know what? Let's increase that to 3. 3 trucks there. That should give us enough parts. And then that should give us the mechanical parts. And the mechanical parts should allow us to catch up on the maintenance, which is currently at 65%. It's been below 50, well, it was below 50% for ages, and I would really like it to get it up to the 90% mark before I calm down a little bit. I think we have finally stabilized. Maintenance is now stable. We've got 3 labs running full time. We've only got 2 workers left. I should probably hire some more, but then I shouldn't need more food if I hire some more workers. I just need some more housing. We've got these 2 over here absolutely plowing the iron ore out. I'm kind of tempted to build a transport belt from here over to here to actually bring the iron ore over. That's probably what they mean you to do in the end, though I'm starting to get concerned about how long that stuff's going to last. There's a fair bit of it there, but yeah, considering the length of this game, I'm pretty sure you would plow through that in no time. Oh, coal-wise, this actually looks like a proper coal mine. I do like the graphical style they've chosen for this, and even just the industry, everything. It looks, bellissimo. But, where were we? Yes, research. Yes, we're plowing that out. And one thing we've managed to get our hands on is guns, because of course we did. That was one of the first things I wanted to research, and it's guns rear. Give me a gun rear. That will take mechanical parts and iron. Yes. We have both of those in spades. That is perfect. We'll put guns on the front as well, which we can't afford right now because it's currently putting that modification out. We are going to gun up our ship, and then we're going to go do some more exploring. Oh, and we can also start the repairs on that oil rig at some point. Currently, we are researching ship armor. Once ship armor is done... food market, maybe? Ooh, maybe we should go with gas combustion. It's just, we've got our hands on advanced diesel. The problem is we can't really utilize it. You can do stage 1 distillation, which is fine, but that gives us medium oil, heavy oil, and sour water. Which is... Then we can take the medium oil, turn that into diesel, but then we're left with a light oil byproduct, meaning we're left with heavy oil and light oil, and nothing we can really do with it bar burn it. So I would prefer to get gas combustion, because that means we can take the heavy oil, turn it into steam, and we can take the light oil and turn it into steam, and some exhaust. And with that we can use that high-pressure steam to actually... generate power with high-pressure turbines, or we can do other stuff with it that would be nice. Vegetables will dry out due to lack of water by 4. Oh, come on. When was the last time it rained? 2.6 months without water. Well, we've got plenty of food, so I'm not sure I care. Yeah, I'm going to have to upgrade that to irrigation in a bit. But first we want guns. Guns are more important than food. Well, for me, not for whoever's living in those things. Which reminds me, we should probably research the better houses at some point. So far, we've got front guns, rear guns, and we've queued up 2 sets of armor for front and rear. That's going to take 400 iron plate. Might take us a little scooch of time to build that, but once that's done, we'll have our ship upgraded and maybe go on a little bit more exploration. So far, things are going great. Oh, and we're up to 4 research labs. Everything seems to be holding up. Potatoes, okay, yeah, we don't have enough space for our crops, so we've got 96 months worth of food. I should probably increase population. And everything seems to be... Like, I'm just waiting for something else to go wrong. Lots of little things went here and there, but since we've managed to iron out all the kinks. What got me was... Oh, setting up these mining things so they continue mining correctly without stopping was a little bit tricky. Like, this gun is going to cut all the way through here. In fact, let's expand that just a little bit. Where are you going? Yeah, just to make sure that they keep doing what they're supposed to be doing. I've had several things stop for no reason that I could figure out. This one over here, at some point, just decided to run back and forth in circles without actually digging anything up at all and completely stifled concrete production. That was, unpleasant. Alright, oh, and this is the captain's office. It allows you to put in these national edicts that allows you to change stuff. You're asked to put in an Industrial 1 vehicle fuel saver, which costs you 1 unity, which... honestly, not really worth it, in my opinion. Population ones for food saver and, yeah, I don't care. Oh, every month 4% of the population will have to pack their things and leave the island. Eviction. Oh, okay, so this allows you to control how much population are on the island. But population growth increased. Food consumption increase. You know what? Let's put down some more housing. We could do with a few more workers. Right, our armor is about to come in. Perfect. Let's see what it does to the ship. It should change its animations just a little bit. And it's nice, some nice wood decking you've got there. It's still wood decking. What changed? Nothing has changed. At least the guns showed up. All right then. So that's that. Let's go do some exploring then. What's the closest one? You're 196. I believe 196 is the closest one. So yeah, let's explore. Not enough crew. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. We have obtained enough crew. It seems you need a lot more crew when you've got guns. Who knew? You head there. Give us an exploration. Let's see what we're dealing with. Preferably, I'd like to run into some pirates so we can shoot them. I'd like to see how combat works with the boat. Or, I'm guessing it's probably automated. Alright, for the time being, we have 4 research labs. We have enough production going on, though I might want to up coal. You see, we're running into a little bit of a problem here in that the coal production seems to be unable to keep up with the demand. Occasionally we're having this copper stifling because we're not getting enough coal to it. So I'm thinking a couple of more coal trucks, actually one more coal truck and one more excavator should sort the problem out. Well, it turns out we needed the guns for nothing. We found some loot. Rubber, copper, vehicle parts. Right. Yeah, we'll just go home, I suppose. And then we'll see then we'll refuel, head off to the next locations. Let's see what we've got around us. I probably should have explored all these locations earlier, but we were kind of busy. Plus, now we've got the research going on. We'll just queue up a whole bunch of stuff and we should be good to go. Next up, whatever's over here. And then we're going to have to actually start going... Oh, 2 jumps. I wonder what the range on this thing is. I should really check that next time before we launch it. More... nothing. Okay, hooray. Right, go home. We'll drop off those resources and then we'll head over to this section. What I'm really hoping to find is... exploration, as in there is this thing here, a cargo depot. This requires cargo ship technology. You need to discover a cargo ship in the world map to understand how to design this building. So we need to get our hands on this before we can knock out this research, and I really would like to get my hands on this research. So we're going to keep exploring until we find that, and in the meantime we'll research everything else around it. Someone want to bring over some of those lab equipment? Anyone? Ah, there it is. Location explored. We've got cargo ship technology. That's exactly what we were looking for. Nice. Alright, you can... Actually, is there any point returning home? You can start the repairs on this oil rig. Waiting for material delivery. You can go home, and then we're going to repair up that oil rig so we can start getting oil in. And research is... Yeah, this thing is working out perfectly. We're just plowing through the research. It's all going through there. Now we are eating through our resources, but the island's big enough that I think we'll be fine for a while longer. And oh my god, you've absolutely minced through that area. Yeah, there's a little bit more copper on the agenda. You'll be fine for a little bit longer. Okay, next. We want to go grab that cargo ship and bring it back home. And to do that, we need to send our ship out with 240 iron. We go there, that fixes the ship, and then the ship comes back with us, I think. I think that's what we have to also do with this oil rig. We have to go out with 120 construction parts Mark IIs, and that will allow us to get that up and running. Currently, I have selected loading the damaged cargo ship materials, so once that's all on board, damaged cargo ship, all required cargo loaded, we can send the ship on its way. Perfect, then deliver the cargo. Off you go, bon voyage. This thing over here, this trading dock, that it seems conflicted with this over here. This is a cargo depot. This is where the ship is going to go, and it's going to go in and out and bring us cargo from remote locations. Very, very important. We'll have to figure it out when it arrives. For now, we tripled down on oil production, basically because, well, we started to run low there. I panicked a bit and then just built 2 of them. Just because. Also upgraded the piping. It turns out the piping could only carry 60 oil, or had a throughput of 60, which was exactly, well, these things required 54 or something like that. So it just meant we were only able to run one of these no matter what we did until I upgraded the piping. So yeah, there was a little bit of franticness there, but we got the piping up and running. When it comes to this stuff here, the housing, we can upgrade that quite handily, and it's not even that expensive. It's just some construction parts and electronics. How do we only have 120-something construction parts Mark II? Where Where are you? Damn it. Okay, we should probably double down on those. We'll worry about that in a minute. Now let's see how the ship comes along. Have you... Okay. You can now go home, I suppose. You have... This is already explored. Ship orders. Where's... Ah! Here we are. Ooh. Aren't you a hot little number? Ooh, very nice. I was expecting this to look, you know, kind of decrepit and beat down, sort of like the rest of the island and all of our equipment. No, this thing looks shiny and sweet. Okay, we need to fix the oil rig and then hook this thing up to it, but I am sort of out of time for the day. I need to go grab some food at some point. In this game, you don't get a lot of footage out of it, but you do get a lot of playtime. I mean, just figuring out the percentages, or not the percentages, the ratios you're supposed to use, and getting this very, very basic and dumb factory that I'm sure has a lot of the more experienced players screaming in frustration. Yeah, this was not the simplest thing in the world, though I do like that we've got 4 research labs. We should be able to plow through all the research in no time at all. Once we knock out up to research level 3, we can then stop again, though I think the first thing I want to do is start tucking into advanced diesel. Advanced diesel is so much more efficient on the oil, and we can grab so much more power out of it, but that's also going to require us to have more people, which means we'll probably need more food. We don't have fertilizer yet, so we're probably going to want to make, what do you call it? Irrigated farms. So irrigated farms, then straight into oil mark 2, and we're also going to want to get the oil rig up and running. Always something to do. Quite like it. Quite like it. We'll definitely get a 3rd episode of this out, maybe even a 4th and a 5th. This one has kind of sucked me in. Ooh, no trees to harvest. Yep, nope. I'll finish that off later. I'm going to cut this out here. I hope you enjoyed. Good luck.